Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 5 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 5-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 2 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 2-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1-minute time check, stations.
Hawkeyes Sports Network. From Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. This is Hawk Talk, brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. By your local Ford dealers. Also brought to you by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. And by University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Here is your host, the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
And good evening, everybody. School is in session, classes have started, and Iowa football is front and center once again for the 2024 season opener coming up Saturday at Kinnick Stadium with the Illinois State Redbirds, the 25th ranked Hawkeyes in the preseason Associated Press and coaches poll sit in the top 25 along with 3 or 4 other of its Big Ten brethren, which we'll talk about as the evening wears on. Illinois State, a solid top 25 program at the FCS level, coached by Brock Spack, longtime Purdue assistant coach, defensive coordinator, great player at Purdue. He and Coach Ferentz go way back. Kirk will be joining us later as we welcome you to View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City for our inaugural Iowa Hawkeye Hawk Talk with the head coach of the Hawkeyes, Kirk Ferentz. Iowa football's, this is the 135th year of Iowa football, and I dare say it dawns unlike any other. Saturday, the Hawkeyes open up, yes, with Illinois State. It's an 11 o'clock kick, 9 o'clock for the pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. But there are a number of firsts. Let me run through just a few. The Big Ten Conference now has 18 members after adopting Southern California, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington from the Pac-12. The expanded playoff format will now feature 12 teams, and that lends additional hope for schools like Iowa to crash the postseason party. Total and quality wins are more essential than ever before. And for the first time in 45 years, coaches Hayden Fry or Kirk Ferentz will not be on the Hawkeye sideline. Coach was suspended for the opener last week, as we all know, along with wide receiver coach John Budmeyer, for impermissible contact with a recruit who had not yet officially entered the transfer portal. And the university and Coach Ferentz self-reported the incident after being made aware of it. Of course, it's the first transgression of any kind committed by Ferentz, who will be back on the practice field Sunday and back as the head coach on Monday, but he will not be on the sidelines for the opener Saturday, and that is going to be unique. It's going to be odd. It's going to be different. He's turned the reins over to now interim head coach Seth Wallace for Saturday's game with Illinois State, and we'll hear from Coach Wallace shortly. He's got a wealth of coaching experience, 25 years roughly. He's Iowa's linebacker coach. He's the associate head coach. He's the assistant defensive coordinator to Phil Parker, and with the veteran aroma of this staff, I mean, when you look at how long these coaches have been together, as Coach Ferentz said yesterday in his press conference, they'll be just fine because they have a wealth of experience. There's a situation they have not seen nor witnessed, and there's not a corner, a twist, or a turn that they won't be able to handle. We're at Hawk Talk in View Rooftop, downtown Iowa City at the Hilton Garden Inn. Beautiful facility. We've been here for a number of years. You know where we're at. Come on out and join us each and every Wednesday night going forward for the next 12, well, count them, 14 weeks, because we got a couple bye weeks thrown in there. If you're at home enjoying the program on the radio or live on the Iowa Hawkeye Network YouTube channel or on KCRG 9.2, great to have channel 9.2 with us again this year. You can watch it anywhere around the state if you get the signal, or the official Iowa Hawkeyes YouTube page. If you have a question for Coach Ferentz, we have a number of ways you can reach us on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or at Iowa_Learfield. On Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. You can text your questions this year to us at 319-853-8344. We'll give that number out a number of times this evening. 319-853-8344. Or email your question to hawktalk@hawkeyeradionetwork.com. Email your question, your comment at hawktalk@hawkeyeradionetwork.com. Well, Ed Podolak has called it a career after 41 years with the headset on in the booth on game day. And my new broadcast partner for Iowa football going forward for, we hope, at least 41 years. He was an All-American linebacker for Iowa from 2005 through 2009, followed by a 4-year career with the Indianapolis Colts. He was a second-round draft choice of the Colts. Pat Anger threw his undersized body all over the field, subjected himself to major injuries that would follow. In fact, he had 6 surgeries to repair a shoulder, a foot, a right knee, and it all eventually ended his career after he notched 328 tackles. He was near the top of the tackle chart in the NFL every year with Indianapolis, and of course he's one of the great all-time linebackers for the University of Iowa. Now the Bettendorf native will describe his beloved Hawkeyes' good and bad days, mostly good, to thousands of you around the Hawkeye Radio Network starting this Labor Day weekend. And how appropriate, because nobody has worked harder or labored more than Pat Anger to get where he is today. And he's right alongside me right now. How about a hand for Pat Anger, former Hawkeye great?
Thank you, Dolph. That was really nice of you, my friend.
Good to see you, 43 or 51.
Well, as high as I can count, about 51.
51's it?
Yes, that's it.
You know, Dick Butkus wore 51.
Oh, yeah. They give it to all the ugly guys.
Well, I'm looking forward to our debut on Saturday. And what are you excited about?
I'm just excited to be a part of the program again. That meant so much to me. And, you really don't realize how much Iowa football means to you until you're done. And it means a lot. And having this opportunity to be able to bring fans into the game and allow them to be a part of something great, something that's bigger than themselves, something that we're all a part of, it's such an honor and a privilege.
You had a great run with a lot of great teammates from 05.
But I run too slow.
Yeah, well, you ran fast enough. And the guys that carried the ball or caught the ball and ran in your direction know what I'm talking about. But you had such great teams, great coaching. Norm Parker was the defensive coordinator then. Now it's Phil Parker.
Yeah.
And not much difference.
No, both very intelligent, but also insane, and both just amazing leaders. And I'm still afraid of Phil. I'm still afraid of him. But both just tremendous humans, and those guys know football and they know defense, and they're a great representative of the state of Iowa.
Phil is demanding because he doesn't recruit dummies. He recruits guys like you that can play the game at the highest level, as Norm did. And you respect that, and you want to perform for him, don't you? Oh, absolutely. He definitely holds you accountable because he loves you, and he knows what you're capable of. And with Brett Greenwood, you want to talk about, he recruits smart people. I mean, Brett Greenwood was a huge part of that defense. And we would line up, and we would look back, and Brett would tell us what to do. And at that time, we ran one defense. It was one defense. Just get after him. Yeah, Brett would be like, Pat, you go over there. Well, it's assignment-based football at Iowa, the 4-3. As Norm Parker always said, I'll go to Vegas on your money. I'm not going to Vegas on my money. And his point was, we might blitz once or twice a year, but we're not going to take a lot of chances. We're going to keep everything in front of us. Yep. And we've got the guys that can make the plays. And I think of that 09 defense, and that Orange Bowl performance against Georgia Tech might be the greatest single-game performance I've ever seen. Georgia Tech came into the Orange Bowl averaging, with that triple option run, 338 yards rushing, not total offense. 338 yards rushing a game. They got 138 yards of total offense that night in Miami. Adrian Claiborne absolutely terrorized. He was pretty good. The entire offense. But what a supporting cast. Mitch King, Carl Klug, Broad Binns, Anger, A.J. Eads, Hunter, and the linebackers, Tyler Sash, Micah Hyde, Brett Greenwood in the back end, and others. I know I'm going to leave somebody out, but Amari Spivey. Yep. Amari Spivey. Christian Ballard. Just we were all equally insane, which really helped. Collectively, though, what a defense. Yeah, and just it was a team-first mentality. It was do your job. I was very fortunate to play behind that D-line, and that might, to my opinion, it's one of the best D-lines to ever come through the university. And
I didn't have to do a lot of work. Everybody did everything, and I was able to run around and not get blocked and jump on the pile and celebrate like I did something.
And average 20 tackles a game. Pat Anger.
My dad's keeping stats about 20.
Maybe.
My wife's keeping stats about 6.
6? Never good enough, is it? Well, it's great to have you on board. You'll be wearing the headset. 8 stories up in the air. Starting Saturday, we're going to have a great time. We got a great crew.
I forgot to tell you, I'm afraid of heights.
Are you?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
I hope you're kidding. From when you played to present day, what do you like about this team? I know you're a defensive guy, but let's start with the fact that we have healthy quarterbacks.
Yeah, I've had injuries, obviously, and I understand what Cade's been through. He's had 2 season-ending injuries. He's also had 3 different offensive coordinators in the last 3 years, and it's a lonely road to get through those injuries. And I'm excited just to see where he's at, and I know he's been through a lot, and I think he's going to do well. And with Tim Lester, he's very enthusiastic, and I think we're going to see a lot of really cool things with this offense this year.
Brendan Sullivan transferred in from Northwestern. He's solid. Cade McNamara, though, he's running around very, very well. He said he's 100% healthy. He said with him it was more mental. It usually is with a knee injury.
Oh, for sure. I've had about a million, and
you know what he's talking about.
Yeah, his knee might be sore, but I tell you what, his hair looks amazing. It's phenomenal.
He does have a great head of hair, no doubt, and he's got some great options to throw to, starting with the All Big Ten, the next in a great line of tight ends. Luke Lachey. Luke had 10 catches and 130 yards before. Broken bone in his lower extremities and his ankle or foot cost him the rest of the year last year. But man, it's good to see him out there running around again.
Yeah, he's an NFL tight end. Him and Addison Ostrenga, both just NFL guys, studs. And the reason why they're going to go to the NFL is because there's guys like me guarding them that are 5'10" and run a 5-second 40. And I think too, most importantly, with those 2 guys, they're good men first.
Yeah, they are. They're quality kids, terrific student athletes. Branching out, one of the question marks, if you can call it that, is we know the quarterbacks are healthy. They've got 3 solid quarterbacks, Lainez, Sullivan, and McNamara. Beyond the tight ends, who are they going to throw it to? Well, they got options.
Yep.
Caden Weegan is one who's very quick. The young man who transferred in from Northwestern with Brendan Sullivan, Jacob Gill. Kirk loves him.
Yeah, I've heard a ton of great things about both those guys this camp, and looking forward to them. Seth Anderson, another guy who's a stud. Jerry Bowie, amazing guy, athlete, good player. These guys are going to get open space this year, and I'm looking forward to it.
Caleb Brown will not play in the first game, suspended for that opener. But Caleb, transferred in from Ohio State a year ago. He flashed. Yeah. And he's got all the speed in the world, might be the fastest guy on the team. But you mentioned the kid, Jarrett Bowie, redshirt freshman out of Tampa. He really had a great fall camp.
Oh, yeah. Ton of talent, very athletic, smart kid. When that ball gets in his hands, he's going to do a lot of good things.
Well, you were raving about how good the D-line was when you played, and we all know on offense, especially at Iowa, if you've got an offensive line that can, first off, stay healthy, and you got some depth, you can do some special things. See Robert Gallery and Brendan Sheriff and Brian Ferentz and present-day Logan Jones, Tyler Lindebaum. Pick one. Iowa's always had great linemen. If they're healthy, none better.
Yeah, and last year they were extremely banged up, and two, this is the most veteran line that we've had in a long time, as long as I can remember, and I think they're going to do good, especially with this stable of running backs they have.
Double sevens. We're looking at Connor Colby. I remember when he's a freshman All-American out of Cedar Rapids, Kennedy, just solid. And up front, the Hawkeyes are going to go with Mason Richmond. Jennings Dunker at the tackles.
Jennings Dunker, just an amazing human.
What a specimen.
I don't miss running my head in dudes' heads like that.
Well, he's only 6'5", 315 pounds.
That's it, huh?
He won the Solon hay bale toss this past summer. So that's kind of a nice traveling trophy they have. Logan Jones, he does a lot of similar things to Tyler Lindebaum. I'm not saying he's Tyler Lindebaum, but he's pretty close.
He's a huge weight room guy. I think he's one of the strongest guys on the team.
And Bo Stevens has really gotten his act together. Bo's healthy. He's got a great attitude, the junior from Blue Springs, Missouri. Mason Richmond, another Kansas kid. He's been there for a number of years. And they got some depth, though. Nick DeYoung, Tyler Ellsbury, Cade Pieper, Leighton Jones, Jack Dotzler, Mike Myslinski. They've got 10 guys now that are interchangeable, and that is so important when you're knocking heads with guys the size they are in the Big Ten week in, week out.
Well, it's huge. I mean, unfortunately, in football, injuries are going to happen, and to be able to have just solid depth like that we have, I mean, a lot of these guys could start anywhere else in the country. To be able to have that as a backup is very impressive.
Well, let's go from back to front defensively, Patrick, in the secondary, which has got to be one of the more quality secondaries in all college football because of Quinn Schulte, who's a sixth-year guy. Quinn came back this year. Of course, you've got the X-Man, Xavier Wampa, Jamari Harris.
Quinn Schulte wears number 30 really well.
He does.
He wears it really well.
And that was Brett Greenwood's number. Yep. I know where you're going with that one. And he's got a nose for the football, calls the defensive signals. Quality kid, great family, great football family.
Yep.
The Schulte family. But, you know, when Jamari Harris, which kind of shocked me, said he was coming back this year, he's been hurt throughout his career. I thought, man, that secondary is lights out coverage-wise. You got Harris. They've got the one corner where, you know, with Cooper DeJean leaving. I know they're slotting T.J. Hall in there, but they got some options back there in the secondary. John Nestor had a tremendous fall camp at the other corner. Kane Ontringer, Deshaun Lee's going to play. They're thick. They're like the offensive line. They're thick. They're solid. They got numbers, and they're all healthy.
Yeah, they're stacked. I was looking at these names, just all studs.
And we haven't even mentioned Sebastian Castro.
No.
Who could play back there, but I think they'll leave him at cashback and maybe offside help with the linebacker spot.
He's about as close to Bob Sanders as we've had since probably Bob Sanders.
A bigger version of Bob Sanders. And we're going to get a look at Sebastian right here. I mean, he's so smart. So it looks like he's got great speed, but he's a great closer because he knows as soon as the ball snaps where it's going.
Oh yeah, and he really turned it on about third way through the season last year, and he just came on the scene, and he was a guy that I really just watched all year last year, and was very impressed.
First team All-American by Pro Football Focus, third team Associated Press All-American. You know, I never pay too much attention to first, second, or third team. If you're an All-American, you're an All-American. That means you're one of the top 30 or 40 players in the country, and that is Sebastian Castro times 2. Up front, Iowa's always had great rushmen. Joe Evans is gone. We lost some quality people off that line. They're young, they're aggressive. We do have some veterans, though, like Ethan Herkett from Cedar Rapids Xavier and Deontay Craig. I love that kid.
Deontay Craig, he's an NFL guy. He looks like an NFL. He looks like he could play right now. Ethan Herkett, I love his effort. He gives great effort, and I really think, you know, the most important person on our defense is Y.A. Black.
Very, very good point. He and Aaron Graves are very, very instrumental or very critical to the success. If there's a Achilles heel on the defense, it's not because of a lack of talent. It's a lack of experience, and that's at the tackle, with the exception of Y.A. Black.
Yeah, Aaron Graves, I mean, he's a third-year player, didn't redshirt, and he's already graduated.
How about that?
I still can't even read.
He's a dummy. I mean, that's, academic, All-American a year ago. And then you have guys like other guys that have played, like Max Llewellyn.
Yep.
Brian Allen has seen the field. Jeremiah Pittman. He's a guy that we've been waiting to see bust out, but you got to wait your turn in Phil Parker's defense, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with all these studs, you got to definitely earn it. And, you know, Brian Allen, another guy that within the next couple of years, he might be a very high draft pick.
Brian is a sophomore out of Lake of the Hills, Illinois. And so the talent is there. We've got a number 9. It's not Torrey Taylor, but it is another Aussie. It's Reese Dakin. And they're calling on him to punt the ball, hopefully close to what Torrey performed.
Yeah, that's a tough task, but I've only heard great things about Reese.
Yeah, he's a tremendous young guy. He's 19 years old. Torrey, I think, was 25 when he got here. and Torrey's going to have a long, illustrious career with the Chicago Bears. But there's no questioning Dakin's leg strength.
Oh, yeah, he's from as soon as he stepped on campus, he's been kicking bombs for sure. He's Pat McAfee-esque.
Another Pat McAfee. Well, you're a good buddy of Pat.
Oh, Pat's a good friend, yes.
He's a classic. A little hard guy to read if you're watching him on TV and have never met him.
Right.
I understand he's a good guy.
Oh, he's the best.
And then, of course, we got it's always a great nugget to call our kicker Mr. Reliable, and that's Drew Stevens. Yep. 3 points are very important often.
Oh, absolutely. Drew's been through it. He's been tested, and I think he's going to have a tremendous year.
Tremendous on the point after touchdowns. His kickoffs rarely do not go into the end zone. I mean, he's got more touchbacks than anybody in college football. He's right up there near the top. So Drew Stevens is back for his junior year out of North Augusta, South Carolina. Grew up just up the street from Augusta National.
I'd tear up that course.
Yeah, you would. Well, literally, we'd tear that course up.
Would invite me back.
That's in a nutshell, a capsule of what we see with this Iowa football team. This is a defense, Pat, that has ranked total defense in the top 10, 8 of the last 9 years. I mean, it's just remarkable what Phil, what Seth Wallace, what Kelvin, Jay, the other coaches have done. Year in, year out. The names change, the numbers stay the same, and the defense remains top-notch.
Well, and it starts with Phil Parker, obviously. These guys, what I loved about them last year watching them is they all hustle to the ball. Everybody runs to the ball, and they fight for every single thing. And when you're running to the ball, you're hustling, and you're doing your job, it's pretty tough to beat an Iowa defense.
And that Iowa defense will be tested by a veteran Illinois State team. Coach Brock Spack and the Redbirds have had 12 winning seasons out of the last 15. They're in the national championship game in 2014 at the FCS level. Lost the title game, but they got there. And he's been recruiting solid players from around the Midwest ever since. We'll talk more Illinois State when Coach gets here. When we come back, we will hear from Kirk's replacement on Saturday. That is Seth Wallace, the interim head coach, who will guide the team to hopefully victory over at Kinnick Stadium. 11 o'clock kick, 9 o'clock pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We're at View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City in the Hilton Garden Inn. We're coming right back in just a minute. This is Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Coach Ferentz. We're excited to partner with Iowa Corn for another football season. And Iowa Corn is pumped up for the season with the Hawkeyes. For those of you that drive to the game, support Iowa's corn farmers by selecting unleaded 88 at the pump. It's a fuel choice that's cheaper, homegrown, and better for the planet. It's worth the hype. Get pumped up for unleaded 88. Let's go Hawks.
At MidAmerican Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success on the field and off the field requires a strong work ethic and constant improvement. That's true no matter what field you're on. There are less than 5% of Iowans making a living off the land. The Hawkeyes are proud to celebrate Iowa's hard-working farm families. Agriculture touches lives in so many ways. We feel it's important to recognize the men and women responsible for producing our nation's food, fuel, and fiber. Farmers are the backbone of the state of Iowa and the whole country. That's why our players are proud to wear the A&F logo on their helmets. It serves as a reminder to all of us, America needs farmers. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate America's farmers during A&F Game Day on October 12th. You could win the ultimate A&F fan package, 4 reserve seats, sideline access, and an autographed football. To register, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024 U.S. Bank.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk from View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City. Great crowd tonight on opening night. Fry Fest weekend. Fry Fest is just, 48 hours away over in the Iowa River Landing. It's going to be another great weekend. And it's kind of ironic that, the late, great Hayden Fry nor Kirk Ferentz will be on the sideline, Pat Anger, on Saturday for obvious reasons that are well documented. Here's the longest tenured coach in college football, self-reporting himself. And you know Kirk as well as I do. The guy doesn't have a crooked bone in his body, nor would he ever get sideways with the NCAA. But good for him that he stepped up. He and Beth Getz self-reported it. And hopefully that's the end of it after Saturday. Yeah, Coach Ferentz is a man of integrity. And he's selfless and extreme ownership right there. And that's why, you fight for Iowa, but you die for Coach Ferentz. And he's a good man. Well said. Part of the Fry Fest activities this weekend is the Iowa Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. That will be Friday night. And if you're going to the game on Saturday, you'll see all these incredible athletes introduced. Baseball great Mike Boddicker, the great wrestler Rico Chipperelli, Sue Burry, two-time first-team All-American, and all Big Ten, of course, all Big Ten every year. Won a number of tournament titles. And your former classmate, Adrian Claiborne, yes. Big ACs going into the Hawkeye Letter Winners Hall of Fame. I know you're so proud of him as a person and certainly as a football player. No, he's one of the best there is. Absolutely. And Sean Green, too. Sean Green's going in there, too, right? Sean Green, yep. What a battering ram. I did not like tackling him in the NFL. That was not good. Sean, well, he's a little bigger than you are, too, isn't he? Yeah. Sue Burry from field hockey, as I mentioned. Sean Green, a unanimous consensus All-American in 2008. Won the Doak Walker Award as the best running back in America. I think he rushed for 100 yards every game that year, I want to say. In all 13 games, yep. You're right. And absolutely destroyed South Carolina in the Outback Bowl down in Tampa. Well, that's not hard. No, you're right. South Carolina, come on. Lindsay, we knew her as Lindsay Meter, great basketball player, three-time Big Ten selection, All-American in 2001, 2002 from up the road at Solon. Kevin Coonard, first-team All-American in 1973 for Hawkeye basketball. Remember watching Kevin up in Dubuque and then watching him play at the old field house where when he played, freshmen were not eligible. Wow. And he had 950-some rebounds in 3 years. I mean, he put his elbow right in your earlobe. He had the mentality of a Pat Anger. And so we got some great ones going in. Mike Boddicker, of course, not only one of the great pitchers at Iowa, but in the major leagues with the Baltimore Orioles, pitched in a World Series. So it's going to be a fun night over at the Feller Room in Carver Hawkeye Arena. Part of Fry Fest, the Iowa Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Our guy Ed Podolak's going to be introduced Saturday on the field, honoring Eddie for his 41 years of work. And just going to be a glorious day. And we know the Hawks, before 70,000 of you screaming fans, will perform admirably. Let's pause 10 seconds right now for station identification. We're at the top of the hour. We're at View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. This is Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz, back in 10 seconds after station identification. And welcome back to View Rooftop. Well, as of midnight Friday night, Kirk Ferentz will turn the coaching reins over to associate head coach and linebackers coach Seth Wallace. Now, Seth has been on the Iowa staff for 10 years. He plans to keep the in-game routine as normal as possible. Wallace played at Coe College up in Cedar Rapids. He's been a coach at a number of levels, successful at all of them for 25 years. He's really excited for what Saturday brings, but he feels terrible for his boss.
just taking the field on Saturday will be an opportunity to display, just all the class and character that Coach Ferentz has shown throughout this process. And, in the midst of all that there is in college football that's wrong with it and the way that some people treat it, you've got a head coach that took complete ownership. And, so this is just, I think all of this is a reflection on, how good of a person Kirk Ferentz is.
For the casual fan, you're the linebacker coach. You've got a couple of other titles, but how does your role change come Saturday at 11 a.m.? What additional duties, what less duties do you have, and how do you wrap your arms around all that?
Well, I think, some of it, Gary, is just, it'll be trial by error, so to speak, come Saturday. I think I've paid, close attention to just, the ins and outs of football and, the way that the game gets managed. And, but more than anything, we've got an unbelievable staff. We've got veteran coaches on this staff. We've got some that have been head coaches in their career. And, so this thing it'll be managed by the entire staff. And, right now we're real fortunate because we got a lot of veteran players. And, with that comes, hopefully a seamless operation on Saturday. Obviously there'll be some unexpected bumps in the road, but, as we look at it, this isn't something that's, going to attack our program and knock us to our knees. We're very fortunate because of the team that we have and the staff that we have.
Seth Wallace, he'll be taking the head coaching reins, but he's got able assistants that are there for him. LeVar Woods, Pat Anger, by the way, sitting next to me, my new broadcast partner on game day.
Just call us best friends from now on.
Yes.
My new best friend.
Your new, my very best friend, Pat Anger. Don't make me look bad now. I'm counting on you. You've known Seth a long time.
Yeah.
He was a GA when you played?
Yeah, so when I got there, when I first met Seth, he was a GA getting everybody coffee, and I was a linebacker. I had no idea what I was doing, trying to put my pants on correctly. So look at us now.
Rita Foley was there when you were there.
Yes. What's up, Rita? How are you?
Hawkeye football.
Rita's a legend. She is Hawkeye football.
She knows where all the files are. She knows where all the pictures are. And she's got the dibs on everybody, so don't ever cross Rita Foley.
Rita's the best.
Executive Secretary in the Iowa football office. Well, hey, nice introductory time tonight. I'm going to let you roam through the crowd and have folks come up and say hi, shake your hand, and we'll look forward to your debut officially on Saturday. We're going to have a good time.
You're a good man, Gary. I'm really looking forward to this opportunity, and I appreciate you, brother.
Now, don't bring your dog up to the press box. We might have some issues getting that in. All right, Pat, I'll see you in a bit. Pat Anger, ladies and gentlemen, the Iowa great, and now Iowa great with a headset on. And he'll be with me at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning when we come on the air live from Kinnick Stadium as the Hawks get the 2024 season going against the Illinois State Redbirds from Bloomington Normal. We'll take a break, come back with some of your Facebook posts, your tweets, your emails. You can text your question now this year. Thanks to our friends at U.S. Cellular. Text your question for Kirk to area code 319-853-8344. Write it down, 319-853-8344. And we're back with more Hawk Talk from View Rooftop in Iowa City right after this pause.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
Hawk fans, be sure to visit and connect with these local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, located in the Des Moines area. Carr Law, Community Choice Credit Union, and Royal Flooring. Facing a criminal charge or complicated family law situation, Carr Law Firm has the trial experts you need. As experienced trial attorneys, we understand how much is on the line. Go to carlawiowa.com for a free consultation. That's Carr with 2 R's, lawiowa.com.
Hey Hawk fans, this message is for anyone looking for that first job, or maybe a job that's actually fun. The Wigan Pen in Ankeny is hiring.
The Wigan Pen is locally owned and offers flexible hours
with competitive pay and a fun environment.
Stop by anytime, Wednesday through Sunday to apply.
The Wigan Pen in Ankeny, serving tantalizing sandwiches, soups, salads, and famous signature pizzas from the Flying Tomato to Chicago Deep Dish. And quenching your thirst with a full bar and a wide selection of beer on tap while you watch the game. The Wigan Pen Pizza Pub. Eat, drink, work, and play.
Hey Hawkeye fans, Peyton Sanford here with Iowa men's basketball. Your support in the stands is critical to our success on game day, but now you have another way to make a real impact. Join the Swarm today and partner with my teammates and me to service charities throughout Iowa. Together, we're making our state stronger and helping Iowa athletics become the place where we experience the thrill of winning championships. Head to iowaswarm.com for more information. Let's make a difference, Hawkeye Nation.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Hawkeyes on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Cedar Ridge Distillery continues to be the home of Iowa's favorite bourbon with the original 86 bourbon whiskey. Not only is it always made with Iowa corn, but we let Iowa put its own stamp on the whiskey by aging it in non-climate controlled rickhouses. Make your next drink with Iowa's favorite, the original 86 bourbon by Cedar Ridge. Learn more at cedarridgedistillery.com. Cedar Ridge Distillery, Swisher, Iowa. Please drink responsibly.
Iowa, Illinois State, Saturday morning over at Kinnick. A big weekend, opening weekend. 11 o'clock for the kick at Kinnick Stadium. Sold out house at Kinnick Stadium. More about that in just a minute. The entire season is sold out thanks to you wonderful, incredible Iowa Hawkeye fans again this year. You can hear the game start to finish, and 2 hours prior, really 2 hours on either side of the game. 9 o'clock for our pregame coverage. We'll be on the air with our typical hour and a half or so postgame show after hopefully a Hawkeye victory. Join us at 9 o'clock Saturday morning. It's Fry Fest weekend. It's Hall of Fame weekend. And it's just going to be, the weather looks to be very, very good this weekend. No 110-degree real feel heat wave rolling in. On that note, I participated in the Chris Street annual Iowa Basketball Memorial Classic in honor of the great Chris Street Monday over at Finkbein. Thanks to another sold-out morning and afternoon session. Thanks to all the golfers who participated, raised a lot of money for a great cause. The Street family was there. It was, I think, 94 or 5 when we teed off on Monday afternoon, and 6.5 hours later we got finished. Had a great post-round ceremony, award ceremony over at the Ted Pasha North End Zone Center. Just a great way to end a hot Monday. So thanks to all of you that supported the great cause. It is the Chris Street Iowa Basketball Classic. All right, let's an update now for you fans, you season ticket holders, you folks who are coming to the game on Saturday at Kinnick Stadium. Or any home football game, you need to be aware of some security upgrades. Talked with Hawkeye Associate Athletic Director for Sports Operations and Event Management, Marcus Wilson. And the university has contracted the services of Best Crowd Management Company for this year.
They've hit the ground running since then. The staffing levels right now at this point heading into the season are probably better than what they've been in the past 5 years. So they've done a great job already, and we're excited about what they're going to bring. Importantly, as part of this new partnership, we'll be implementing the latest technology in metal detectors at all gates around Kinnick Stadium beginning this upcoming season. These new devices are not unlike what you see at other professional stadiums and venues. They do not require you to take out your keys, your phone, your wallet, or anything. You can just walk right through the detectors. Importantly, our clear bag policy will remain in effect, but with these new devices, our security staff at each of the gates won't need to check each individual bag. So fans will be able to keep their clear bag with them and just walk right through the gates.
we know how irritated fans can get if they're delayed longer than normal getting through. But this sounds pretty slick.
Sure. I think initially there will be fans will need to get used to this new gate process, but ultimately and primarily because this will allow us to eliminate the individual bag checks that we currently have, it's going to be a more efficient gate entry process, and then ultimately a safer environment at Kinnick Stadium.
And most importantly, those wonderful relationships that our fans have developed with our past security people, both at Kinnick and Carver. Many of them have been rehired. Familiar faces.
Yes, absolutely. We've got a lot of great staff who they don't come to Kinnick Stadium for the money. They come because they love the Hawkeyes, and they've been doing it, some of them 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they're amazing. And yes, so you'll see a lot of the same faces this year, but under new management with best crowd management.
And given what's happened in Paris and concerts canceled, you can't be too cautionary, can you?
No, you can't. You can't. And we're fortunate here at Iowa to have great partnership with the University of Iowa Police Department. We talk on a daily basis in planning for our football game days, and we work with. They've got relationships with other state agencies, with other local law enforcement agencies around the state of Iowa, and even federal agencies. And we meet on sometimes multiple times a week to ensure the safety of our fans here at Kinnick.
Thank you, Marcus Wilson. Security upgrades at Kinnick Stadium and Carver Hawkeye Arena going forward. So it's not TSA extensive. You'll be able to walk right through the magnetic detectors. Just make sure that you don't carry a suitcase in with you, because that might delay you a little bit while they check that out. But have that clear plastic bag, and you'll get right to your seat in record time. Hawk Talk with the Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz here live from View Rooftop each and every Wednesday night during the season is brought to you by Hawkeyes. Do you have Hawkeyes Midwest in your farming game plan? Hawkeyes Bio 800 Plus products are enriched with soil microbes to build soil health and increase your yield. Soil nourishing, root stimulation. That's Hawkeyes Midwest. Go to Hawkeyes, that's HOLGANIX Midwest.com. HawkeyesMidwest.com for more information. You can join us every Wednesday night here for Hawk Talk. Come on out, be here in person, or stop by on football Saturdays to View Rooftop for a new experience unique to Iowa City. Immerse yourself in an invigorating environment with comfortable contemporary indoor and outdoor seating. High-definition televisions for watching the game, tailgate specials, and live music at View Rooftop. Enjoy the camaraderie and celebrate with a toast at View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn here in downtown Iowa City. Call for reservations, area code 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650. And thanks to View Rooftop here at the Hilton Garden for hosting us each and every week on Hawk Talk with this guy, Kirk Ferentz. And thanks for coming out.
Good to see you. You got your partner here.
Yes, Pat Anger.
Yeah,
yes,
I wasn't expecting that. That's awesome.
He came by for a cameo.
All right.
He filled in he did an admirable job in your chair for about 20 minutes.
If I'd known that, I would have,
You'd have sat in the parking lot a little longer.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to a new year. I know it's a beginning unlike any we've faced before. And so let's get rid of the elephant in the room right out of the gate. Nothing new since your announcement last week about the one-game suspension?
No, nothing new at all, and it's going to be unusual and weird, all those kinds of things. But, the bottom line, our staff will do a great job, and most importantly, the team will. Players play the games and they win games, so they've done a great job. We've got really good leadership, especially the veterans, and, the reality is, I probably do more during the week than I do on Saturday, and Seth will do a great job, too, helping coordinate everything. But, again, we got a good staff. Guys been through a lot of things, and they'll do a great job.
Well, it's a veteran staff, and that will be a bonus on Saturday to have all these guys together for as long as you have. It really is a bonus.
It is. Phil's been here every year. I've been here, and LeVar's played here, and then he's also done a great job special teams for quite some time. Tim's a newcomer, but Tim's been a head coach. He certainly sees the big picture and just understands how things go together. And if I were there, those three are the main people I go to for, information, questions, those types of things. And, there are occasions where, I'll have to make a decision, that type of thing. And if that's the case, Seth will do a good job there too. But it's always been a collaborative effort. That hasn't changed. And, that's what it'll be on Saturday as well.
Coach Knapp on Twitter says, is Mary prepared to watch the Hawks from the couch on Saturday with Kirk? Well, I'm not sure. I kind of envision you two being in separate rooms.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously I've never done this before. And,
yeah.
We've talked about it briefly. She will be home, and we will be home. We're not going to be anywhere else, so we'll be home. And she did ask me, whenever it was, maybe Sunday, can I talk to you during the game? And I don't know. We'll see. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it's going. Probably how we're playing is going to dictate a lot of things.
Now, this is new for everybody.
It is.
But,
it's really weird.
A learning experience indeed. Never too old or young to learn something new, huh, Coach?
Managed to, navigate our way through COVID. Never missed a game that way. And, didn't have any issues there. But this one's, it's come up. So, yeah, it's something new. And one more thing to put up on the board, I guess.
That's right. Put in the history book. We had a question on Twitter earlier from Jerry, and you mentioned Tim Lester. First off, big picture, when he arrived in February to now, how have things gone, the transition, and then has the offensive verbiage gotten more extensive with the game plan?
Yeah, it's just the nature of that offense that he brings, and it's really interesting. We have a real contrast in our football team right now, a very veteran group of players on defense, and a system that's been in place for the better part of 25 years. Pat probably could call half the game, from the booth, actually. So, there's a lot of carryover there. It's been really, really new since February when Tim got here. And it's new not only in terms of concepts and things we're doing, but also the language is very, very different. And that's just part of football. If you play pro football, you go through the same thing. And we went through that when I was in Cleveland. We moved to Baltimore. Coach Marchibroda came in, and he meshed some of the things we had been doing, but also brought a lot of his ideas and his terminology, nomenclature, all those types of things. And the bottom line, my takeaway from that was that the players learn a lot faster than the coaches. We have a lot more that's ingrained in our heads. X amount of years doing it this way, and I went through the same thing. I remember when I came here in 1981. Coach Fry's whole numbering system was different than anything I've ever seen or heard of. And it took me about 5 years to get that down. Players look at you and laugh because it's like, 8, 9. But so anyway, I think that's kind of what we've seen. The players have really been, eager to learn it. They've really done a good job with it. And, it takes a lot of repetition, a lot of work at it. The guys have done a really nice job.
And then you blend in the fact that it's the first game with this new system. And in talking with Brock Spack the other day at Illinois State, a guy you've known a long time, Brock says, I hate opening day games because there's always something going to jump up and bite you that you're not anticipating. And whether that be the opponent or something that your team does running the wrong direction is simplifying it. But, I mean, it's opening day. It's the first pitch.
So true. And I agree with Brock 100%. The what-ifs are way more than they would be week 5, week 7, week 8. You have a better idea of what people are going to do. And that's the first point we made to the team Monday when we had our first team meeting with the overview. First game's a lot of unknowns, and that's personnel, that's schemes, go right through the list. Illinois State's got a lot of veteran players, a lot of guys back, but they've also got guys that we haven't seen in those uniforms, guys from other places, and I'm sure they'll have a young guy or two that'll be contributing. So that's one component of it. Then you've got they like us have a pretty veteran staff. Brock's been there since 2009. A lot of the guys there have been there, and so they do have DNA. They have an identity. Brock's a really good football coach, and they've got an identity in all 3 segments. But all that being said, you don't know what they've done over the offseason. I mean, we all go out and talk to people and learn and try to maybe integrate some things from other places that will fit with what you do, and this is part of football. So the bottom line is this. I just try to emphasize to our guys that, it's all about us knowing what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And then first and foremost, you just have to be sound. So, if you keep the ball in front of you on defense, keep it inside where it's supposed to be. Just don't give up anything really big. And if there is something you have to adjust, as long as, you don't have a catastrophic play, you can survive that and then coach it up on the sidelines. And that's part of football in general. But to Brock's point, week 1, it's always a little bit more. This is also the week that takes forever. Today's Wednesday, and it feels like, we've been at this 8 days already.
6 months.
Yeah, it really does. And it's think Tim was commenting on that today in the office. But it's funny, once you play that first game, it's just it's rapid fire.
It goes in a hurry.
Night and day difference.
Fast forward. Like you said, you only get 12 opportunities for sure every year. I thought I was talking to you the other day when I was talking to Coach Spack. He said, the bottom line is, in the end, whether it's the first game or the 10th game, take care of the football, no negative yardage plays, and stay away from penalties. And so he said that usually means you're going to run the football. You got to run the football, control clock, but primarily take care of the ball, no negative yardage plays.
So true. And Brock's an excellent coach. He's a defensive coach. That's his background. But, the league they play in, it's a really good league, top to bottom. I mean, it's week in and week out. It's very competitive. Brock's a really good coach. He knows what he's doing. He's got a good staff, and they've got good players. So it's it's going to be a challenge. It's just that's football, and that's college football. This day and age, it's really interesting, and it's going to be a big challenge for us.
That would be the Missouri Valley. I don't need to remind you that Northern Iowa, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, North Dakota, South Dakota, and I think there's 11 or 12 teams total, but all solid programs that are typically hanging around the FCS championship game every year.
We beat South Dakota State a couple years ago, 7-3, I think it was, and somebody just commented to me that's the last time they've lost. Really good program, just an excellent football team, and very well coached. That whole league, I just got a lot of respect for it. Tim Polisak, who was with us back at North Dakota State now, and it's a really competitive league. A lot of good players, and UNI is just up the road too, and see the same thing when you watch them on tape.
Coach Ferentz is with us for the rest of the program. We're here until 8 o'clock at View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City in the beautiful Hilton Garden Inn. We'll come back with, we'll go to Facebook, to Twitter, to the U.S. Cellular text line, by the way, is in play, 319-853-8344, 319-853-8344. All your questions and comments are coming up from View Rooftop in just a minute. Throughout the Iowa Corn's Cy-Hawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. On behalf of Iowa's corn farmers, we salute all athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field. Just like our top athletes, our state leads the nation in corn and ethanol production. Go to iowacorn.org, iowacorn.org, and learn how corn grows Iowa. Those stalks are stretching high into the sky this time of the year. Needless to say, it was well over knee-high by the 4th of July, and looks like a great crop about to be harvested. And hopefully victories harvested starting Saturday. Iowa, Illinois State again. 11 o'clock for the kickoff. Pregame coverage starts at 9 here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We're back to View Rooftop right after this. This is Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
When you live in the Midwest, you're accustomed to leading the nation in certain things, from corn and pork production to eggs and soybeans. And now we're adding another product to that list, clean, renewable wind energy. By investing in wind turbines and partnering with area farmers and landowners, Mid-American Energy is harvesting wind power that's homegrown right in our very own backyard. which not only provides customers with low, stable energy rates, but also the support to make our Midwest communities safer and stronger.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
Hawk Talk live from View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City. Gary Dolphin with the head coach of the Hawkeyes, Kirk Ferentz. Kirk starts his 26th year. Not on the sideline this week, but he'll be back next week. That's the good news. So this is exactly 24 hours in, right? You told me Friday night, midnight?
Correct.
That's it. All right.
Yep.
You'll be back in the office Sunday morning. Good deal. Hey, folks, you can entertain your clients or employees at each home game in Hawkeye Village, presented by Navigate Well-Being Solutions. Once again, Hawkeye Village is alive and well this season. Village packages include game tickets, catered food. All you have to do is visit HawkeyeSports.com for more details. Navigate Well-Being Solutions. It's a proud partner of Hawkeye football. Coach, let's go to Twitter and Facebook and email and all over the place here. We get Hawk fans checking in. Dick in Burlington, Coach, does the new helmet to quarterback communication technology do away with the potential for sign stealing?
Yeah, it's really a good addition. Just better for the game, number one. And to that point, absolutely. And Commissioner Petiti joined the conference a couple years ago. And obviously we were impacted by the sign stealing saga last year. Directly impacted our conference. And you know, he's really been good. He's been a great leader of our conference, and I think we're really refreshing. His background's in baseball and TV and baseball, and that's a sport he knows better, or the best, I should say. But he's really asked good questions, and his first takeaway was like, you know, you guys could have fixed this a while ago, just like they did in baseball. So I think it's going to help that way, and overall, it's just better for the game. Hopefully the quality of play will even be a little bit better now.
And Major League Baseball has been way ahead of the curve on electronic technology, whether it's the appeals or the challenges with the reviews. And so it's good for everybody involved. Good to hear. Thank you, Dick. Bob and Marion, do you feel your offensive line coach is versatile enough to play by committee, similar to the group of running backs? They all are experienced. They seem to be able to fill in at multiple spots, like Tyler Ellsbury last year.
Yep, that's a good question, good observation. That's something we felt good about, at least, 5 weeks ago. Thought we had the potential to have a better line, more veteran, more experience, et cetera. And those guys did a good job in August. They really practiced well. And to that point, it's a really good point. There is some versatility now because you got Nick DeYoung, who's played guard and tackle both sides. He's pretty flexible that way. He's certainly, a guy we consider to be a starter. Tyler jumped in and played center last year when Logan was out. Did a really nice job. And Tyler's actually one of the few guys I've been around that can play all 5 spots. He practices maybe almost better at tackle, which is kind of unusual, but he's done a really good job all three spots, guard, center, and tackle. And again, left or right doesn't seem to affect him or impact him. And then Cade Pieper is the other prior 8th guy right now at this point. And Cade has been working extensively at center during preseason camp, and that's, we kind of envision him playing that position down the road, but he can slide out the guard and play pretty effectively. So I feel with those 8 guys, we have guys that, Cade hasn't played in games necessarily, but I think he'd go in and do just fine. So I think we've got 8 guys that we feel we can play winning football with, and maybe one of the more pleasant things I've seen this past 4 weeks was just the development of the other guys I'm not mentioning, the younger guys that are backups. And, I think they're much better than they were in the spring, and so that's encouraging. We're going to try to keep moving those guys forward too. So to the caller or the questions, point, it's just I think we have a little bit more versatility, more depth, and we've got some options now if we do need to put players in. We're playing by rotation, not really a big topic. We'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow, but I think first thing we want to do is just try to make sure we've got stability out there, make sure everybody kind of knows what each other are doing, and then play it as we go.
I know you're happy for Bo Stevens. He struggled with injuries, and a guy that has hung in there through a lot of tough times. And here he is, a junior out of Blue Springs, Missouri, and he's going to play a lot of guard for you.
Yeah, I complimented him yesterday or 2 days ago. I guess it was yesterday. Feels like a week ago. But just on the job he has done, and going back to the spring, and to your point, he is just, I don't know if snake bit's the right term. I don't believe in all that stuff, but it's just he's had a lot of bad luck. It's just misfortune with injuries, different things, and he's really persevered. Took a big step in the spring. We had 15 workouts. He practiced all 15. First time in his career where he's been able to be there every day. And that's one challenge, but that's 15 days over 5 weeks versus camp where you're practicing five times, 6 times a week. So didn't miss a snap. Really did a good job, and he's been able to stay out there, and he's got good potential. And now that potential is starting to develop because he's getting the work that it takes to really become good. And I'm really excited to see him play. And just to your point, it's just Justice said the right word, but nice to see good things happen to a guy who hangs in there and just keeps swinging the bat, even though he's had some unfortunate breaks along the way.
Yeah, we all know if that Iowa offensive line is stable and healthy, good things usually happen. We'll take a break, come back to View Rooftop in just a minute with more Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
Upgrade game day with Hawkeye Village, presented by Navigate Wellbeing Solutions. Get game tickets, an exclusive pregame game party, all you can eat, drinks, and more. Limited availability. Check out HawkeyeSports.com/Hawkeye-Village. Hawkeye Village, presented by Navigate Wellbeing Solutions.
At Mid-American Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bowes, pediatric neurologist with the University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever. Oh my goodness.
Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
You don't have to go to the game to get a game program. You can download it now by visiting the Game Day page on HawkeyeSports.com. That's right, the game program is now digital and it's free. So check it out. Get the roster, the stats, and fascinating stories about today's matchup. Just go to HawkeyeSports.com and click on Game Day.
Hawk Talk live from View Rooftop. Great crowd here tonight. Thank you all for coming out. And thank you all for tuning in on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Gary Dolphin with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. We'll be live on the air at 9 o'clock Saturday morning, 11 o'clock for the kick over at Kinnick Stadium with Illinois State. Illinois State, a solid FCS power, has been for a number of years under longtime Purdue defensive coordinator Brock Spack, who's been there, 15 years, Coach? I mean, they've had
09,
yeah, 12 seasons out of 15. They've been over winning seasons. Of course, got to the national championship game 10, 12 years ago. And, I always remembered he coached under the great Joe Tiller. And he was telling me the other day, we had Drew Brees and great quarterbacks at Purdue. But he said the year that we went to the Rose Bowl, he said, thanks to Iowa's win over Northwestern, he said we had three guys, we beat Michigan, three guys in the game, the same game, rushed for over 100 yards. He's big on running the football. He said you got to run the football no matter who you are and where you play in the Big Ten.
He understands that, and he's a defensive guy, so he understands the value of that. And, Brock's a really good coach. I mean, boy, gave us headaches when he was with Coach Tiller. And look back, not to get too specific, but my 25 years here, Coach Tiller is one of the best coaches I've ever had the pleasure of, trying to compete against. And great guy, unbelievably good guy. But, boy, was he a good football coach. What a great hire for Purdue. They had been struggling. They brought him in whatever year it was, and it was quote-unquote basketball on grass.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, he was a defensive line coach back in the 80s when, we used to Brock was playing, actually. So it's kind of interesting. But to your point, they always understood the balance in football, the importance of understanding the balance in football. And the thing I would just say is this, they were, basketball on grass. That was kind of the reputation. I go back to when the 49ers were a dominant team, going back in the 80s. Washington won 3 Super Bowls. Those teams were better known for their offensive play. But the commonality is they had good defensive teams and staffs. And the same thing about Purdue. Like everybody, when Joe Tiller was there, everybody thought about their offense, the quarterbacks, all that stuff. But they were playing really good defense, too. And I remember that 03 game. Man, I think they stuffed us over there. It was like 24-3 or 7, something like that. But I think they had 8 or 9 guys drafted off their defense.
4 guys in the front 4 or the front 4 or 5 played in the NFL. He told me
they were good players. I mean, those guys are really good. And another guy I remember is Ninkovich, who had a really nice career in New England.
Rob.
And he went to Joliet Junior College. And one year it's like he's just some guy on their team. Next year, like, whoa, who's this guy? So they develop their players, and that's not an accident. Good coaches, good staffs do that, and certainly. When Purdue, and I mean this all due respect since then, but I mean back then they were a tough outfit, and when we got here in '99, we were chasing them. I mean that was a team we were trying to move past, and we were trying to move past everybody at that point. But that was a team I had a lot of respect for, just the way they did things on both sides of the ball.
Coach Spack told me that Iowa recruited him out of high school, Rockford, Guilford.
Yep.
He said Barry Alvarez and Hayden Fry were in my living room.
Yep.
And he said, I said, well, Coach, I think I'm going to go to Purdue. And he said, Barry looked at him and said, that'd be the worst mistake you ever made in your life. He said, all of a sudden I noticed Hayden was nowhere to be found. And I could hear Mom laughing out in the room, out in the kitchen. So he walked out into the kitchen. Hayden's washing the dishes, and Mrs. Spack is drying them. He said, I learned a valuable lesson that day. You always recruit the mother.
Yep.
And Hayden was out there recruiting my mom. Ultimately, he did go to Purdue and was, to your point, a terrific player. Brock Spack, he'll have his Illinois State Redbirds in town this weekend. Back to email and Twitter and Facebook. Tom in Des Moines. Coach, will we eventually play all conference opponents since we now have 18 teams of the league, no more non-conference rivalries like Iowa State? I don't know. It's going to be hard to get away from that game.
Yeah, I thought he meant all the conference teams. That'd be really tough. We'd have an NFL schedule playing 17 games.
If you played,
yeah, we would be the NFL.
I think he threw the rotation.
I got it. I got it.
Basis
well,
in there.
We're definitely moving in that direction. Both of those directions. 17 games plus, the rotation in conference. Yeah, at this point, nothing would surprise me. If anybody told you a couple years ago, Oregon and Washington, we're going to be in the league. Forget about the L.A. schools.
Yeah, USC coming to the Big Ten. Sure, yeah. You bet.
And I could see us at some point. I would not be surprised if we played 10 conference games. So, I've given up on fortune telling, so I'm just going to worry about the 12 we're playing. But, yeah, I don't think it would be a huge surprise if we keep expanding the conference play.
Tom, stay tuned. Let's go from Twitter to Facebook. Dean, if the Hawks win Saturday, does the win go to Seth Wallace or Kirk Ferentz?
That's probably about number 112th on my list of things I'm thinking about right now.
A W is a W.
Yeah,
right?
I just all we care about is our team playing well and winning.
Yeah, well, trust me, Dean, it'll go on Kirk's record, as well it should. Hey, we're brought to you tonight by Wendy's. Don't fight hungry, Iowa, with Wendy's new Hawkeye Biggie Bundle. Score a JBC. That's a 4-piece Nugs, junior fry, small soft drink, and a small Frosty at the Iowa nice price of just $7. Grab Herky's favorite at a participating Wendy's for a limited time, and go Hawks. Thank you, Wendy's, for supporting Iowa football and the University of Iowa. Coach, Brett wants to know on Facebook, how's the overall health of the team after camp? I noticed in your press conference you said pretty good.
Yeah, overall pretty good, and that's encouraging. Certainly we've got a couple guys that had some bumps in the road this week. I guess yesterday, more so today, actually. So hopefully those guys will be ready Saturday. It's part. We practice and we got a game, but we're not pulling back. I mean, we practice hard on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and hopefully everybody will be ready to go. But overall, our health is really good, and sometimes that's not the case, unfortunately, because you got to practice in August too, and just it's the nature of the game. But yeah, at this stage, it's overall pretty good. And as I said yesterday, Phil's probably been the worst injury, and he's not happy about that. But luckily, he's not playing.
He's got that wing in his sleeve, and looks to be moving around pretty good out there.
He's doing fine.
He'll be as feisty as ever. He'll be as mean as ever on the sideline Saturday. Phil Parker, we speak of. Thanks for the question, Brett, on Facebook. We'll come back with more of your text messages and Facebook posts in just a minute. We're at View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City here on the Hawkeye Radio Network each and every Wednesday for Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bowes, pediatric neurologist with the University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Hey, hungry? And your heart is ticking for chicken? Well, take a quick turn into Quickstar, because we got
no ordinary chicken.
Yeah, go wild with wings. Next level super wings with trusty sidekick and sauces. Or let's talk tender. Quick chick tenders. Love me tenders. Love me some quick tenders. Ours are bigger, better, tastier. Or if you're feeling good old school comfort fried chicken, we got it. Hand breaded, down homier than anywhere. Quickstar, saving your nuggets from ordinary.
Today's agriculture demands expertise, and no lender delivers more ag expertise than Farm Credit Services of America. More than simply having the financial products and services you need to do business, we have the knowledge and commitment to help grow your business. From financing the next season to growing the next generation, we work to achieve your goals. We're Farm Credit Services of America. Call 800-884-FARM. Agriculture works here.
Hey Hawkeye fans, Peyton Sanford here with Iowa men's basketball. Your support in the stands is critical to our success on game day, but now you have another way to make a real impact. Join the Swarm today and partner with my teammates and me to service charities throughout Iowa. Together, we're making our state stronger and helping Iowa athletics become the place where we experience the thrill of winning championships. Head to iowaswarm.com for more information. Let's make a difference, Hawkeye Nation.
Traditions start at breakfast, so start your morning off right at the Machine Shed.
This is Jeff Grender, and we offer hearty skillets that are sure to satisfy any appetite, or morning classics like the Farmer's Benedict, or buttermilk pancakes that are made from scratch daily. Don't forget to order one of those cinnamon rolls that are big enough for the whole family to share. At the Machine Shed, we believe breakfast is the most important part of the day, so come on in and taste the difference.
I-80 in Hickman Road, Urbandale, and I-80 in Northwest Boulevard, Davenport.
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment, knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to Wellmark.com/every moment to find a plan right for you.
We're back at View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City at the Hilton Garden Inn. Thanks for joining us. Our opening night for Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. Want to welcome our new Deputy Director of Athletics for Strategic Initiatives. He's the Chief Operating Officer in the Iowa Athletic Department. Joe Parker is here. Joe, wave to the crowd. Joe Parker, welcome to Iowa City and University of Iowa. Joe came in from Colorado State. He knows a few former Hawkeyes.
Yeah, he overlapped with Jay Norvell at Colorado State, and then at Oklahoma as well, and Bob Stoops going back a few years. But those guys all just think the world of him, and it's, I think, a great addition to our department here, and he'll be a real asset to Beth.
And Joe, welcome to you and your wife and your family to Iowa City. Coach, one of the great things about each and every football season is the University of Iowa Healthcare Kid Captain promotion, and we're going to talk about our first winner tonight. So as we welcome this week's University of Iowa Healthcare Stead Family Children's Hospital Kid Captain, hello to 8-year-old Carter Schmidt of Coralville. At 9 months, just 9 months old, Carter was diagnosed with a rare blood cancer affecting just 1 in 1.2 million kids. His care team sought a bone marrow donor and found one perfect match. John Graham from the state of Mississippi, who joins Carter and his family on the field Saturday. His cancer has since been in remission. Congratulations to the fighting Carter Schmidt and the Schmidt family, this week's University of Iowa Healthcare Stead Family Children's Hospital Kid Captain.
You know, what a great initiative. I think it started in 2009. I'm not sure whose idea it is, but what a great idea, and just it's been such a great thing for all of us. And we the seniors and our coaching staff get to visit with the kid captains in the open practice in August. That's always a great thing. And then, but the stories are really, it's all about the stories, not only the patients, but the families involved. And then all the people that care for them, whether it's the nurses, the therapist, the doctors, obviously, just all great. And then Carter's case, a little special tie here. We've got Kent Ellis as a grandfather who was a captain here in 1980, year before I got here as an assistant. So a nice little connection to the football program on top of it.
Hard to believe Kent Ellis is a grandfather.
Well, so am I, So, I mean,
well, so am I.
Yeah. But, no, I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of those.
When your former players are now grandpas.
Liddell Betts had a birthday yesterday, and, it kind of depressed me when I learned how old he was. So just keep getting these reminders.
That's okay. You're able to sit up and take nourishment and get these reminders, that's for sure.
Oh, boy.
Coach, let's go back to Twitter before we take a break. Jerry in Cedar Rapids, how does Tyler Barnes' role change specifically with his recent promotion, if at all?
Yeah, it's just a title change, and I guess it's a promotion. But the bottom line is his job has changed, and it's really interesting. People ask about college football, and there's been so much change, just so much going on. But the change is really around the football, if you will. The football game itself is not a lot different. And the coaching staff is not a lot different. We've not really, grown. We have analysts now. I guess we didn't, 25 years ago. But we only have a handful of them. We don't have an army of them like some people because we have the same number of guys to coach. So that challenge hasn't changed. But if you told me 25 years ago we're going to have a social media department or, go right down the list, transfer portal, the NIL component, and just all these different things. So it's a whole different world that way, and basically, the best way I can describe Tyler's job, he's pretty much in charge of everything I don't want to be directly in charge of. So he helps coordinate our recruiting. He's involved in the NIL process and that whole thing in the transfer portal. It's a nonstop deal, and unfortunately for him, he's got a phone with him all the time, which that would drive me crazy. So if I got to do something, he'll tell me you need to do this, and I enjoy that. So it's just the good thing about being here is we've got such a great staff and a support staff. So it kind of allows you to focus on what you think is really important, and you can't do that unless you've got really good people around you. And Tyler's done a great job, as is basically everybody in the organization.
He's come a long way title-wise from director of recruiting originally, and still is very intricately involved in the recruiting process.
That first year, Pat Flaherty was our tight end coach and recruiting coordinator, and he couldn't get out of the office. There was so much paperwork you have to do and all this stuff for NCAA things. And so I'm like watching that going, geez, this poor guy, we're wasting a spot because he can't get out there. So, yeah, the evolution of this whole thing. But, yeah, Tyler's done a really good job, and he's been here a long time. He's been here twice now and really grown in the program and helped us grow the program. And, again, that's where the growth is right now, the stuff away from making first downs or stopping first downs.
Appreciate the question on Twitter, and we're back with more in just a minute. We'll come back and do a little scouting report on Illinois State, their personnel, in our remaining moments with Coach Ferentz here on Hawk Talk from View Rooftop, courtesy of Learfield.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success on and off the field requires a strong work ethic with a focus on improvement. Our players share the drive and determination of Iowa farm families, and that's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Please join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate farmers during A&F Game Day on October 12th. For more information and to win game day tickets, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
Get in the game with Hawk Talk. Join Coach Kirk Ferentz and host Gary Dolphin for 90 minutes of Iowa football talk. Wednesday, 6:30 to 8 Central. Listen live on the Hawkeye Radio Network and Iowa Hawkeyes YouTube channel. Presented by View Rooftop.
Despite the unshakable Iowa-Corn Cy-Hawk rivalry, there is one thing Iowa State and University of Iowa fans can both agree on. Getting hyped for Unleaded 88. It's cleaner burning and better for your engine, and it's cheaper than other fuel options, making Unleaded 88 the clear fuel choice. If Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk rivals can agree on it, you know it's worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88, grown by Iowa corn farmers.
When you live in the Midwest, you're accustomed to leading the nation in certain things, from corn and pork production to eggs and soybeans. And now we're adding another product to that list, clean, renewable wind energy. By investing in wind turbines and partnering with area farmers and landowners, Mid-American Energy is harvesting wind power that's homegrown right in our very own backyard, which not only provides customers with low, stable energy rates, but also the support to make our Midwest communities safer and stronger.
Step into the action with the Fight for Iowa podcast. Join host Gary Dolphin as he takes you behind the scenes with Hawkeye coaches, athletes, and alumni. Tune in weekly on HawkeyeSports.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Your front row seat to Hawkeye athletics.
Hey Hawkeye fans, Peyton Sanford here with Iowa men's basketball. Your support in the stands is critical to our success on game day, but now you have another way to make a real impact. Join the Swarm today and partner with my teammates and me to service charities throughout Iowa. Together, we're making our state stronger and helping Iowa athletics become the place where we experience the thrill of winning championships. Head to iowaswarm.com for more information. Let's make a difference, Hawkeye Nation.
Hawk Talk each and every Wednesday night here from View Rooftop. Welcome back to our remaining moments with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. I'm Gary Dolphin. We'll be on there at 9 o'clock Saturday morning from Kinnick Stadium as the Hawks get the 135th season of college football and university annals off and running against the Illinois State Redbirds. Coach, we've talked quite a bit about Brock Spack's team tonight. They've got a couple of terrific transfers, one from Northern Illinois. That would be running back Mason King. Let's start with him. He's a real deal.
Yeah, he's an outstanding player. He was the newcomer of the year last year in the Missouri Valley Conference, and just a really good football player. And I guess he's changed his name. But still got the same number, and he's still pretty good. He got a lot of yards last year, and he's, if you're going to stop these guys, that's a good starting point for us.
Let's move up to quarterbacks. They got a two-headed monster there. Let's start with Jake Rubley, and if that name sounds familiar, it should. His dad, his uncles have played at several Division I schools out of the Quad Cities, most notably at Iowa State. I think Terry played at Iowa State a few years back. One started at Tulsa. So that it's a football family and a quarterback family.
Really is. They're Davenport West High School, and Jake was actually here, I believe it was 19 for the Nebraska game, Thanksgiving weekend, and he and his dad were here for the ball game. And the young guy we tried to recruit and unsuccessfully played high school football in Denver, like you said, and just really good football family. So not quite sure what the rotation or who's going to play, but my guess is we may see both of them.
Yeah, Tommy Rittenhouse is the other QB out of Geneseo, Illinois. He played at Powerhouse High School in Joliet, St. Francis, won a state championship there. At wide receiver, they've got a young man named Daniel Sobkowitz from Arlington Heights, and I know you know about him in the recruiting process. A heck of a he's big, number 1, 6'3", 200 pounds. He goes and gets the football.
He does. He's been really productive for him. He's a real threat for him. They like to look for him in, critical situations. And to your point about us knowing him, and it's kind of this whole roster. They're not entirely Midwest, but a lot Midwest, a lot of Illinois, Chicagoland guys. And so, a lot of these guys we've had in camp, and we know them. And, they've really done a good job developing players.
Their offensive line was nasty last year when they won 6 games, but they lost 4 out of 5 by, I think, a combined 8 to 10 points. Their offensive line was steady and solid. They got a lot of those guys back.
Yeah, and I just got done saying a lot of them are Midwestern now, but the exception is they get 2 guys that have played a lot, big guys that are both from Florida, ironically. Two real good programs down in South Florida. So, but again, these guys are big. They like to run the football. That's a big part of what they do, and we're going to have to try to take that away from them. Big tight ends as well.
And defensively, at some point, Brock's back. Even though he's a head coach, they're going to come after you. They're going to blitz.
They are. The front is different. The scheme is different than what he was playing when he was there at Purdue. But what hasn't changed is he's aggressive, and they do. They give you a lot of different looks that way, pressure, and when they bring it, and they bring it hard. So it's kind of a max concept. And if you're not sharp, you don't know where to go with the ball. If there's a non-block guy, that certainly can be problematic. So they'll have an aggressive game plan. That hasn't changed.
Got a question here on Twitter, Coach Danny over in Clinton. Coach, what's your thought about Pat Anger? I know you knew him as a player when he was here back in. Of course, he played for you. But when Pat got the job as our new analyst, I remember you told me. I said, "What do you think of Pat Anger?" He said, "How would you describe Pat Anger?" And you said he's Tom Brands with a cult following. I thought that was a perfect label for him.
I think they're similar in a lot of ways. Both great competitors as Hawkeyes during their collegiate careers and beyond. And then, Tom can be entertaining to listen to. But I always laugh because I think he knows exactly what he's saying at all times, even though he gives the appearance that it's just coming out.
Hey, that's a snake in the grass, as
yes,
they say. Ready to bite. We're going to miss you Saturday, but I know you'll be hugging your radio, as Zabo used to say. Be tuned in.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a radio, actually, so we'll see. But I got one in my car. I can go sit in the car.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll be back next Wednesday night on Hawk Talk from View Rooftop in Iowa City. Hawks and Illinois State. It's Fry Fest weekend. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. Hawk Talk has been brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Call 811 before you dig. It's the law. Visit MidAmericanEnergy.com for natural gas safety tips. Iowa corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. By your local Ford dealers. U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Also brought to you by University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.